Hi everyone, my name is Olamoju. This is the life of my 20s.
Life in my 20s.
So my name is Olamoju and I'm the creative director at OAK Deluxe. OAK Deluxe makes majorly kaftans for men and we also do suits, but more recently we're trying to go into the wedding industry and do like grooms, agbada and the groomsmen as well. To be honest, it was more of a sustenance thing, me trying to be independent based off life circumstances back in uni. So it was something I started back in uni, trying to be independent, and now it has really brought me here. My mom put us through school, so my parents are separated, and it wasn't very easy for her. And my sister was also in school with me. I tried to ease off the burden from her by not asking her for money for stuff. So it was left to me to then decide how I was going to fend for, apart from paying my school fees. So say pocket money, buy your provisions, get up your gear for school, all of that. And so you still have to look fresh. No, but you can't look like your problems. So it was these were the circumstances that shaped me trying to be someone that was much more independent. I mean, I did pretty good in Babcock, and then I sell face caps, I sell wallets and stuff like just stuff on the side just to at least. And then as time went on, I started doing suits for people that were doing like their matriculation and graduation, and then I started to do local personal shopping. So in school, if for my people in my class, I would ask them because I would always make sure that I dress nice. So people would always ask, "Where do you get your shirts? Where do you get your pants? Where do you get your shoes from?" So before resuming school, I would text on the group chat anybody trying to get any clothes and stuff, and people will reach out to me, and then I'll buy the clothes for them before coming to school. The profit I make from it, I'll use it to buy my own clothes and buy my provision. What brought about me making kaftans was actually a funny story. Because back then, nobody really liked wearing trad. Because we saw trad as what older people used to wear. But there was one time that my mom bought us this fabric. And then she said she was going to take us to a tailor to make the clothes. I was really looking forward to it. Because it was really nice fabric. And then the tailor messed it up. I was so angry because I really, really look forward to wearing that clothes. So I decided to give another fabric to another tailor and then sit with the tailor to do it exactly how I wanted. And then I saw how it came to life and it was really good. Then I started wearing kaftans in school and people were always like, "You're wearing this nice kaftan." I used to tell them thank you. When they say you're wearing a nice kaftan, I tell them thank you, thank you. And then at some point I was like, why can't I tell these people that I make this kaftan? So I started telling them I make the kaftan. So I then went back home to meet my tailor to teach me just the basic measurements so I can measure people. And then when I would go back to school, I'll just measure them, send him the measurements. He will make the clothes, send it to me in school, and I'll deliver. So that was how the kaftan aspect started. My early 20s and stepping into adulthood was very interesting for me. I think I had a lot of fun, but I also had a lot of growing up to do much quicker. So, like I said, based off the situation at home, I knew. I mean, I was in Babcock with a lot of rich kids. I knew that we were not from the same background, so I couldn't now be living my life the way they were living their lives. Do you understand? So I had to give myself that extra nudge that hey, don't lose focus. In as much as you're trying to have fun and enjoy with everybody, you know where you're coming from, you know what you left at home, you know what you need to do. How did I constantly stay on top of my values and made sure that I was consistent with it? It was more of me asking myself, how bad did I really want to do good? I mean, it sounds very very somehow, but how bad did I want it? Did, was was this something that I would do up to a point and I'd be like, it's not doable, and I'll relent. No doubts that there are times where you would obviously get distracted and I mean, there are times I definitely got distracted. There were times I dropped in my um what I say, my grades in school. But things that kept me going was firstly my mom, and secondly the kind of people I surrounded myself with. I've been blessed and favored by God to always have very good, very good friends. I can say one of the blessings that God has given me is gift of friends. So I have very, very good friends that would always encourage me. Whatever it is that I might be starting. If I want to start oil and gas today, they're not going to tell me of the bad side of it. They will let me see the good side of it and let me know that I can do it. And then something else that I developed was always the strong urge to not take no for an answer. So I don't, before I'll take no for an answer, I've already said that there is absolutely no way possible. So yeah, those were the things that actually kept me on track. So I didn't do it by myself. I didn't keep myself on track. God firstly kept me on track. My friends kept me on track, and also me myself then reminded that okay, you need to do certain things. If the struggles that I had shaped me into the person that I am, I would say yes, definitely. There are times, for instance, there are times where maybe we're on a summer break and everybody's having a. I mean, I enjoy spending time with my family at home, so I always go back to Ibadan for summer. But there was just a difference in the things that I could do. There was a difference in the kind of things that I heard my friends say their families are doing and the things that I was doing. And I saw that my mom wanted us to have that, but she couldn't. She didn't have the capacity. She really wanted to, in the little way that she could, she would. Trust my mom. My mom would spend all the money in our account just to make sure that we we live the life to an extent. I saw that she was really trying. I saw moments where she would feel bad when she couldn't do it. So these were the sort of things that reminded me that okay, but you need to wake up fast to be able to change this thing fast. I was able to grow OAK Deluxe over the years. I registered the business properly in 2022 while I was still working in KPMG. That was my 9 to 5 right after school. So I did my NYC KPMG and then I got retained in KPMG. I was doing OAK on the side while still in KPMG, but nothing. I didn't think it was something that I was going to eventually do. Right. So in one of the things that made me go deeper into it was in 2021. Was a reboot camp. It's a camp meeting that is organized by CCI. So it was a day where we're speaking in tongues for I think 6 hours, and it was the first time I heard from God, and I heard so clearly because I was in the process of doing my master's application to leave the country, and then God said, and I heard so clearly, don't leave, don't go for your master's yet. Stay and build your business. I heard it so clearly, like somebody was talking beside me, and I wasn't even thinking about it. And at the time, it was a very irrational decision because it was a time where everybody was leaving the country. So it was something I was also looking forward to. But then I spoke to my mom about it. Thankfully, she's also a believer, so she understood it, and then she encouraged me. Some people didn't understand it, but I knew what I heard, and I didn't want to take it very lightly. So while still doing OAK in KPMG, which was very important for me to be at KPMG, to be honest, because I was able to learn some corporate communication, some structures, some things that you can imbibe into your own personal business if you're doing. Because um, I was working in strategy and customer solutions, so we usually do like business development. We usually do business advisory. So it was, and I had some knowledge from there that I was able to put into my own business. And then in 2022 December, I put in my resignation letter. It was a big decision because everybody was like, hey, how would you leave KPMG? This and that one, that one. But it was something I knew I needed to do if I wanted to take it more seriously because I needed that. I knew what I could do with the little time that I had. So I thought about it. Instead of putting this more time into this white man's business, why can't I put that time into my own thing and then build it over time? And the progression was definitely going to be a geometric progression. So it was going to, if I put in, if I'm putting in 5%, if I'm putting in 50% now, and I'm getting 75, if I put in 100%, I'm definitely going to get, not I'm going to get more than double. So it was something that I knew, and then I obviously saved up enough to something that would last me, say, 6 months, even if I wasn't getting any extra income. And then, but has God became so faithful. I mean, God has always been faithful, but God, would I say, became a lot more. He showed me a lot more of His faithfulness in that period because it was just from one point to another. But back to the question on how I was able to grow it over time, I would say it was more of me learning from other people. Not directly though, but I will study them from afar and see the things that they are doing and say, how can I do this? I knew where I wanted Oak to be. I could pick a few people and say, this person is doing something that I would like to. This person is where I would like to be. What's this person doing that I need to do? This person is where I would like to be. What's this person doing that I would need to do? So I always put most of these things together and then work towards it. So working towards it for me meant finding the right people that I needed to be on my team to do these things because I cannot do it alone. There are sometimes I tried to do it by myself, but fumbled. So I knew I needed people to do it with me. And in that process, we did some recruitments. Some people didn't get to be with us to do those things, but thankfully, like God is a huge part of it because I also prayed for when we were doing the recruitment for the people that we have now that are building with us. I would say was more of an answered prayer because I prayed to God about it deeply, and then He showed up with the people that we have now. So I wouldn't have built it. We wouldn't have built Oak to where it is now without the people that we have with us, and also putting structures in place. Because for something to be scalable, there has to be a structure and a system for it to work. We had to let go of so many manual things that we used to do before, some pen and paper things, to a structure that was scalable so that you can just bring someone in, plug and play, and the person enters into the system and is able to replicate the things that you've been doing. So, staying consistent, building structures and systems that were also sustainable. Where I learned structures and systems was definitely from KPMG because I was an analyst beginning, so you had to do a lot of research. You had to build, you had to pick pieces apart and bring them into one. So it involved us organizing things. There was a lot of organizing that needed to be done, and that organization definitely had a huge impact in the business itself. In as much as people would want to be entrepreneurial, there's a lot of, which is something that my uncle said, there's a lot of lessons, attributes, and things that you need to get from the 9 to 5 that you wouldn't get from the business world in itself. There are some systems, there are some processes, there are some, I don't know if it's attributes that you would get from 9 to 5 that will definitely help you in your own business. If I was to describe my 20s in one word, would be adventurous. Because I've been in I've been in different situations. I've been in different phases in, like, my 20s seem to have been, I think it's been the longest because I can't believe that I'm still not yet 30 with everything that I've been through. It's been the longest and it's been very adventurous. With different seasons, I've achieved things that I never thought I would have achieved in my 20s. I've been down bad in my 20s. I've been up in my 20s. I've been low in my 20s. I've been irresponsible in my 20s. I've been responsible in my 20s. I've been on good track with God in my 20s. I've also been very wayward in my 20s. So adventurous is the right word. Organizations or things I think would have helped my 20s to be better would would have been, I think they were dead, but they were not just, maybe they had not yet had as much reach or gone in depth. Probably how you can, letting people see that you can you can still live that life without being, you can still enjoy yourself without being wayward. You can still live that life with God. So back then it seemed like if you wanted to follow God, you had to let go of enjoying yourself, which is actually not the case, because since I've met God, or since I gave my life to Christ, it's been a different level of different phase or level of, what I say, enjoyment. What I thought was enjoyment before wasn't really enjoyment, as the things that I would see now. So organizations or systems that would let people know that you don't necessarily need to let go of enjoying yourself to be with God, firstly. Secondly, that would enlighten people on knowing the things that you actually need to do to be successful in life. So at some point it felt like if you're not a serious student in school, you're not going to be successful, which is not true. There are a lot of people that are successful now in the things that they are doing that people would have looked down upon them in school because they were not serious in school, or because they didn't have good grades in school. So letting people understand that fine balance between um, building something sustainable for yourself and then working your way towards it. Because if you don't have anything sustainable for yourself early enough, it might be a little difficult when you're much older, right? Sounds like an interview question. Where do I see myself in 5 years? I see myself with a few more businesses. I see myself married. I see myself making an impact, because one of the things that, what I say, drives me is also not just doing something for myself, but also making an impact where I am. So creating more job opportunities, allowing people to also build sustainable businesses like I'm trying to build now. I wouldn't say I'm there yet, but I'm actively working towards being there, where I can have something that I can say, okay, this OAK Deluxe is a sustainable business. It can run by itself. It's something that I'm working towards doing, and then also replicating that in other businesses that I would like to build. But in that process, I also want people to be able to also help people to build stuff like that, and then helping them, what I say, achieve achieve their goals, giving them an opportunity, the opportunity that I might not have had, giving that to other people. An advice I would give to people in their 20s trying to start their brand and haven't made their first move yet is, without that first move, nothing is going to happen. I still struggle with it. There are a couple of things that I'm trying to do that I haven't done yet because there is that fear in taking that first step. The first advice I would give is to definitely pray to God for guidance. And then, but God is not going to, it's not a question of should I do this or I shouldn't do it. It is, how should I do it? How do you want to start? You cannot have any success without being ready to fail. So you must first have in your mind that failure is not the end of the world. Like if you fail at the business, it doesn't mean that that's the end of it for you. It just means that there's something that you don't know. So you need to find how you can know that thing that you don't know that made you fail. So good advice would be to take that first step as soon as you can take it, and find people that are doing the same thing that you're trying to do and learn from them. If there are people that are close enough for you to reach out to them. But if you can't reach out to them, study them from afar. I studied most of the people that I look up to from afar, and then see the things that they are doing that you can also use to learn in starting your own thing. If you don't do it, nobody's going to help you to do it. You have to do it by yourself.
Okay, thank you so much.
All
It was
right.
really nice talking and chatting.
Life in my